guys, today we're reading The Fishing Trip story by Mandy Rathbone and
Michelle
Gordon, illustrated by Julia Croft.
or Cruth or Crowth.
The Fishing Trip story by Mandy Rathbone and Michelle Gordon, illustrated by Julia Croft.
Cruth or Crowth?
You can tell us in the comments.
I didn't read.
Daniel woke up suddenly. He could hear something talking to him. Get dressed quickly, said his father. It's a fine day and the tide is right. Great, we're going fishing, said Daniel. Hurry up, said Dad, because Ella's nearly ready. Ella was Daniel's cousin, and she often visited in the summer. She enjoyed doing fishing going fishing as much as Daniel did.
You have to stop pushing Mama. Camera always move left and right, left and right, up and down. I'm going to catch the biggest fish today, said Ella as Daniel came into the kitchen. No chance, laughed Daniel. I'm the fishing champ in this family. Then Dad said, we're taking 2 extra people with us today, Mr. Moore, who works with me, and his daughter, Sophie. Sophie is the same age as you. Daniel and Ella looked at each other. They weren't sure that they wanted to go fishing with people they didn't know. Sophie has wanted to go on a boat for a long time, said Dad, but she's probably going to need some help because she is blind. When they arrived at the boat ramp, they saw Sophie and her father waiting for them. Dad introduced everybody, and they all put on their life jackets. The children stood back while the men launched the boat, and then Ella and Daniel climbed in. Although her father was helping her, Sophie looked anxious whenever the boat rocked. Ella wondered how she would manage for the rest of the... Yeah, Mama gonna cut that. For the rest of the trip, Sophie held her father's hand. This is too much hand sanitizer now. That's why wash hand instead hand sanitizing. Understand? Hand sanitizer's chemical. Sophie held her father's hand and felt her way toward the seat. The boat rocked again and she almost lost her balance. I did read.
As Daniel watched Sophie, he began to realize how difficult it must be for her.
Sian ya? I did read.
The boat rocks when we move around, Daniel explained to Sophie. It will happen again when my dad gets in. Ella moved the bucket and said, the seat's right beside you, Sophie. Sophie smiled as she sat down. I can feel the water moving underneath the boat, she said. It's exciting. It feels quite different from being in a car. Wait until we get moving, said Ella.
We get going,
said Ella. It will be even more exciting then.
Keep reading.
Dad took them across the harbor to his favorite fishing place.
I did read.
If you pass me the lines, Daniel said, Dad, I'll start baiting the hooks. Sophie ran her hands over one of the rods and felt the reel. The reel. Then her father showed her how to let the line out and wind it back in again. One by one, they dropped their lines into the water and waited for the fish to bite. The time went by very slowly. Nobody was getting a nibble.
Even a nibble.
Even a nibble.
Look at this face. Oh, it's her face. Okay, hurry up.
Nobody was getting... after a while, Daniel said, this is kind of boring. Can we try another place, Dad?
Just then Ella cried out, I've caught a fish at last. But as she wound her line in, the fish slipped off the hook. Oh no, she groaned. It got away. Suddenly, Daniel yelled, "I've got one now!" And he wound his line in as quickly as he could. But the fish was very small. Ella grinned and said, "You know what you have to do, Daniel." "What's wrong?" asked Sophie. "Daniel thinks he's the fishing champ, but he's only caught a little one," giggled Ella. "And it's too small to keep," moaned Daniel. "So I'll have to throw it back," they all said, and waited again.
Then Sophie shouted, "I think a fish is pulling on my line. I can feel it."
"Hold on tightly," said Ella, "because your rod's bending right over. You must have caught a big one." Sophie yelled, "It must be a big one. It's pulling really hard." Daniel said, "Wind some of your line in, and then let it run back out a little way. You have to keep doing that." Soon they could see the fish flapping near the surface of the water. Sophie's father said, "You're doing well. Keep winding it in slowly, and I'll let you know when it's close enough for me to scoop into the net." "Here it comes," shouted Daniel. "It's a huge one, Sophie," said Ella, "so you're the fishing champ now."
Oh!
That's
Daniel
big.
and Ella felt sorry that Sophie couldn't see her fish. Then they noticed that she was moving her hands over it to get an idea of its size and shape. "My fish feels big enough for all of us to have for dinner tonight," laughed Sophie. "Thanks for taking me out in your boat. Have a great time."
I've had a great time.
I've had a great time.
Good
Actually,
job.
there's a lot of fishing camps out there.
Yeah.